Arthur Coleman was 47 years old, living in a quiet town called White Bluff in northern Montana. Arthur owned a farm equipment repair shop. It had once belonged to his father, and before that, his grandfather had worked the land nearby. To Arthur, the shop wasn't just a job, it was a responsibility. A promise. Every morning, Arthur woke up before dawn. Not because he wanted to, but because his body had learned to. He would sit up in bed, already tired, already thinking about the long day ahead. He pulled on his boots, drank a cup of black coffee, and drove down the long road to his shop. Work began before the sun rose and ended long after it set. He told himself this was what a good man did. Work it hard. He provided. He built something that lasted. At home, his wife Irene waited for him every night. She never complained. She simply kept dinner warm and left the porch light on. Sometimes she would say gently, "Arthur, you've been coughing a lot. Maybe you should see a doctor." Or, "Colin has a game this weekend. Can you go?" Arthur would nod, without really listening. When things slow down, he would say, but things never slowed down. Their son, Colin, was 16. He lived 200 miles away in Missoula, staying with a host family so he could attend a better school. Arthur paid for everything: tuition, housing, food. He never missed a payment, but he missed something else. He missed Colin's calls. He missed his games. He missed his life. One day, Colin sent a message. "Dad, I made the varsity team." Arthur saw the message while working on an engine. He meant to reply, "Eriadidid," but then a customer came in, and another machine broke down, and the day kept moving. That message stayed unanswered. Have you ever told yourself, "I'll get to it later," only to realize later never came? Arthur believed love could wait. He believed time was something he could control, but time was already moving without him. His body had been sending him signals for years. His back hurt constantly. His hands were always wrapped in bandages. His chest sometimes felt tight, especially at night. But he ignored it all. "There's always time to fix that later," he told himself. One evening, something changed. Arthur stopped at the gas station on his way home. He noticed an old man struggling with a broken-down truck. It was Walter, a former cowboy who now lived alone outside town. Arthur offered to help, but Walter waved him off. So Arthur leaned against his truck and lit a cigarette, watching. After a while, Walter sat down, breathing heavily. He looked up at Arthur and asked, "You work like that every day?" "Pretty much," Arthur said. Walter nodded slowly. "10 ask it. And how long do you plan to keep going?" Arthur shrugged. 10, maybe 15 more years. Then I'll slow down." Walter was quiet for a moment. Then he said something simple. "I used to say the same thing." Arthur didn't respond. Walter continued, "I worked my whole life to get my own land. And I did. But, by the time I got there, my body was already done. Now I can't even ride a horse." He stood up slowly, brushing dirt from his jeans. Then he looked directly at Arthur and asked, "Can your body carry you to the future you're planning?" "That was Italiano? No lecture? Dot no advice. Just a question." Arthur drove home, but the question followed him. That night, he sat in the living room, doing nothing. The house felt unusually quiet. Irene was in the kitchen, washing dishes. The sound of running water filled the silence. Arthur suddenly remembered something. Colin as a little boy, sitting on his lap, holding a plastic wrench, pretending to fix machines just like his father. Back then, Arthur had time. Or at least, he thought he did. The next day, something changed. At noon, Arthur picked up his phone and called Colin. The phone rang longer than expected. Finally, Colin answered. "Hey, Dad." Arthur hesitated. He didn't know how to start. "How are you?" he asked. "I'm good," Colin said. "We just had a game." "We won." Arthur smiled slightly. "You didn't get hurt?" "No. I kind of miss home." Those words hit harder than anything Arthur had felt in years. "Then come home this weekend," Arthur said quietly. There was a pause. Then Colin said, "Okay." That single word felt like a second chance. Time didn't suddenly slow down. The shop didn't close. The work didn't disappear. But Arthur changed. He started leaving earlier. He let his young helper take on more tasks. For the first time in years, he drove to a city not for work, but to see a doctor. The results weren't good. High blood pressure, heart problems, permanent damage to his back. The doctor spoke in calm, professional words. But Arthur only heard one thing. You can't keep living like this. The money he had saved all those years started going somewhere else. Not into land or equipment, but into medication, tests, and hospital visits. At home, Irene didn't say, "I told you so." She simply placed his pills beside his coffee every morning. She made dinner every night, and she waited for him to sit down and stay. Arthur began to understand something he had never seen before. His father, in his final years, had spent his days sitting outside the shop, watching others work. At the time, Arthur thought it was just old age. Now he understood it wasn't just age. It was regret. One afternoon, Arthur visited Walter. They sat on the porch, looking out at the open land. Walter pointed toward a distant ridge. "Rode that ridge for 20 years, he said. Never fell once Arturno dead, but his mind was elsewhere. He was thinking about Colin coming home. For the first time, Arthur planned something that wasn't about work. He went to the store, bought good food, and decided he would cook. Not because he had to, but because he wanted to. Because this time mattered. Because moments like this didn't wait. Arthur finally understood something simple but powerful. The future isn't just about how much you build. It's about whether you're still there to live it. When the people you love come back, are you still there? Can you still recognize them? Can you still sit with them? Can you still say their name? If you're always telling yourself, "I'll fix it later," if you believe your body will always keep up, if you think love can wait, then maybe it's time to ask yourself the same question, Walter Starter. Can the way you're living today get you to the future you want? Because some roads let you turn around, and some chances don't come twice. Right now, still have time.